I am so excited to be here and to be chatting with all of you about reclaiming work and finding your flow in chaotic times. So I would love, please keep the chat going. I can see all of it right now, and I want this to be really interactive. It's the end of the day. I want you to get the most out of this that you can. So please keep typing into the chat. We've got some polls coming up. And when I'm talking about reclaiming work right now, and when I talk to people who are working, like all of you who are here, the word of chaos comes up, constant change comes up. I mean, people are going through a lot, whether it's what's going on in the world, what's going on in their homes, what's going on at work. It's like there's always so much going on where it can feel like the meme that we all know so well, like, this is fine. I'm good. It's great. Like this is real. It's okay. But I'm actually curious. Maybe this is how you're feeling right now. If so, cool. We've all been there. But maybe you're feeling a little bit different. So I'm going to have us launch our first poll. And I want to know, of these images that are here on the slide, what image best depicts how you feel right now? Like right now, how you doing? How do you feel? So do that poll, see how people are feeling. Okay, awesome. I love that the highest is either like super relaxed and happy, or we're like super relaxed and super tired at the same time. I feel like those two are the highest ones that are coming across. And yeah, I think that we can all relate to one of these, right? Like throughout the day, we're going to feel differently at different times. But so thank you so much for putting in your answer to this one. Here's what I will say. When we're talking about these different stages, when we're talking about how we're feeling, all of that impacts our flow at work. Okay. So we're talking about finding your flow. Let me be clear about what flow state really means. I think we've all felt it before. It's that wonderful, amazing feeling where you get so into what you are doing that time goes away. And when you lift your head, or when you finally turn to do something else, you're like, whoa. And you kind of come out of where you were before. It's when you're in the zone. It's when you're in this amazing state of flow. And one of my favorite ways to think about what this actually means is here. So again, I'm doing this just to be clear about what we mean when we say flow. And on this chart here, you can see at the top of the y-axis, it's when time is unconscious. So time just goes away. And at the bottom, it's like all you can do is keep track of time. And then on the x-axis, on the right side, we have really challenging work. And at the left, we have really not so challenging work at all. So here's the deal. If you're doing something that's extremely challenging, but you're very aware of the time, it's when it takes a lot of effort, like so much effort. You are working so hard. If you're really aware of the time, but you are not challenged, that's when we're bored. There's actually a word for this at work called bore out. It's like the cousin of burnout, and it's not great. Okay. It's not really fun to be bored. When we're not very challenged, but time sort of goes away, that's when we're on autopilot. So we don't have to think about what we're doing. We're probably not doing very challenging work. Maybe this is cleaning out your inbox. It's just the work that really comes naturally to you, but maybe isn't so energizing. And then where we are challenged and time is unconscious, that's flow. Okay. So what can we do to get to this place? The reality is there's just a lot that gets in our way. So most of what we're going to be talking about is how to use our resources, our time, our skills to get rid of what is preventing our flow. And as you've talked about AI so much today, we're going to have a little bit of a conversation around how AI can help you maintain your flow state. But I am not the expert of Copilot, right? Like we have so many experts who are here from Stonebridge. We have people who are trying new things. Cowork agent, that's your flow state time. So please add in your own tips and tricks for using AI, using tools to find that flow. Okay, so what we're talking about in our time, we're going to talk about reclaiming focus and attention, reclaiming productivity, and reclaiming calm. So let's get started with the focus and attention piece. Now, when I talk about focus and attention, I have to start very much with the foundations, which is if we don't know what we're doing, we cannot find focus. We cannot find attention. We cannot find flow. And maybe you felt this way before where it's like, I don't know what's going on. At this point, I am too afraid to ask. It's really common at work to be sitting down. It's like, okay, I have a lot to do. But wait, what am I doing? What's most important? What is my role? What am I supposed to do? What is Susie supposed to do? Like it can be kind of confusing. So I will say just foundationally, you have to be clear about what is your role, what is the goal, and what are the time constraints. So when is it starting? When is it stopping? If those three pieces are in place, it sets everything else up for success. Okay, the second piece, eliminate distractions. This is so much easier said than done. We are all on our computers right now. I'm going to guess you probably have more than one window open. And if you do, how normal is that? Maybe your phone is right next to you. My phone is right next to me. I have multiple tabs open. I see other apps on my computer that I can open, right? Like, yeah, I know. I'm just in your brains, right? I know. It's there. So I want you to think for a moment when you think of your distractions. So sometimes it's the windows that are open, it's the phone that is there. What else is it? So please type into chat. I would love to see from people who are here, like, what is it that distracts your focus and attention throughout the day? What comes to mind? What are those different pieces? Squirrels. Squirrel. Yes. Dogs. My dog too. Oh my gosh, he's so distracting. Loud voices, unexpected requests, messages, Teams. Yes. Or someone's like, hey, do you have a quick second? Emails, constant pinging of emails, that notification sound. Whew, it can be too much sometimes. Or if you even have it on vibrate and you just hear buzz, buzz, oof, or a ping, pop-up requests. Yes. Loud coworkers. Totally. If you're in an office and you're hearing conversations that are happening next to you, or, if people want to come by and keep talking, maybe some of you have seen people will put a sign on their back, like, I'm in deep focus zone. Please don't talk to me. Or like, I love talking, but I can't talk today. And they put that on the back of their chair or in their cube or something. So there's all kinds of things that people do around it. So yeah, I mean, all of these different factors are so real. We cannot get rid of all distractions. I wish we could in some contexts, but unless you're going into like a pod with no windows and no sound, it's really hard to do. And so thinking about what's manageable, right? So some of this, you were talking about it, like if you're home. So if you remember back in 2020 when the kid came in like dancing into the newscast, and this was so relatable at the time. A lot of you said your dogs, right? Like these are those like small little moments where it's like, I can't control my kid running into the room. I can't control my dogs barking at someone walking down the street. So these are still distractions that will be there. And the pings, the messages, like all of those different notifications that come up, that is so, so real. So here's what, the science, what the experts say. We want to be interrupted because each interruption brings us a valuable piece of information. And to turn off these alerts is to risk feeling out of touch or even socially isolated. So if you ever have a hesitancy to turn off notifications, even for an hour or two, neurologically, that makes sense. So that could be happening. But what occurs is it starts to feel like our day is shredded into time confetti. So we just have no time to do what we need to do. And we can't focus if all of our time is in shreds. Okay. So what can you do around this? Well, what I would say is, in minimizing distractions, try to not start the day in a distracted state. This is one of the best things that you can do for your brain. Right when you wake up, don't look at your phone. All right. 71% of people say they sleep with or next to their mobile phones. I am guilty of this. The second that I wake up, because I don't have a clock in my house, basically everywhere, I look at my phone. Not helpful. Not helpful, because what do I do next? I open up my email, and then I open up a news app, and then I might scroll on Instagram, and all of a sudden my brain is starting to look for more distractions. And it's been found that if you actually wait an hour after you wake up, it really quiets that part of your brain that's going to look for a little dopamine hit with looking for more distractions. So as best you can, kick your phone out of your bedroom. Try to not have it next to you. I'm telling you, it actually will just do something for you that maybe you didn't know that it could, and it will make you more focused. Okay, third piece, curate your space. All right, we all need a good environment, good space, whether that's in your actual office environment, making it a clean slate, having something nice there, whether you are at home and you want to move to different places to do different tasks. The space and environment that we are in is actually really important for getting our focus and attention to the place we want it to be so that we can reach a state of flow. One example of something that you can do here is to embrace the power of rituals. So it's ritualizing when you want to do the work that will get you to a flow state. Okay. So if you know that you want to be working on something, you need to get in the zone, you need to finish a project, you have to finish something, then you need to send an email to your boss, like whatever it might be, use a ritual. It signals to your brain that something important is happening. So what you can do is when you sit down, you're like, okay, this is it. It's time. I'm going into work mode. Have something where you can light a candle. You need something that's tangible. You could do something that's a scented candle. You could put on some lotion. Like a scent is really important. You want to try to tease all of the different senses. And when you do that, it signals to your brain and your body, like, it is time. Yeah, coffee is a ritual. That's definitely a ritual. We love a good cup of coffee. And then at the end, when you are done with this task, when you're done with your flow state, you need to close it out. So it could be something like you close your computer and you say, shut down complete, like whatever it might be. Try to find a way to close it out as well. So there's a clear beginning and a clear end. Rituals are really powerful for knowing and signaling to our brain that we can calm down, we can relax so that we can find our flow later at another time. Okay, let's keep moving. And before I do, I mentioned, AI can be used as a tool to find our focus, to really fight that attention detractor. So you could use rituals that work for you. You could use AI to automate task management. You could use AI to filter information like those email digests that came earlier. That can make it easier so you aren't distracted by all those different emails that are coming from different people that are taking away your focus. So think about what those different pieces might be and feel free to add them to the chat if you have other ideas of how to use AI or to use these wonderful tools that you have, to use Copilot, to use Cowork, to find your focus and attention. Please feel free to add them. Is don't bother me a good ritual, asking for a colleague. You know what? If it works, it works. Okay. Okay. Let's keep moving. Reclaiming productivity. I think most of the time at work, everyone is talking about how they want to feel more productive. What can they do? And I understand this. I feel this way too. But the reality is that we hit points in our day where we are just not productive anymore. I'm not sure if anyone is relating to this, but we get that way. Yeah, Donovan, talking about a lunch break away from your desk. I mean, that's a great way to counter this midday mood. It's a good way to do something that will kind of knock you into a different direction. So I am curious. Let's talk about, I want to know what you're thinking about productivity and what gets in the way. So what's your biggest efficiency? What is your biggest productivity roadblock? So this is our second poll. And I am curious to see what it is for you. There's 5 options here. I'm sure there's a lot of different things that get in the way of your productivity. But just of these different options, I'm curious what comes to mind. I love these ideas that you're putting into the chat. 10-minute walk. So helpful. Sunlight is necessary. Absolutely. The sun is shining through my windows right now, and it is beautiful. Excited to experience that sunshine later. Okay. So it looks like competing priorities is one of the top ones for you. That is real, especially if you're working across teams, if you're trying to please different bosses, different leaders of different teams. If you are one of those leaders, you're always answering to different people, it can be a little bit unclear sometimes. Lots of distractions. It looks like a few people who are on the unclear communication. So yeah, a little bit of all of them, Erin. Absolutely. I think that you'll feel these all the time throughout the day. So that completely makes sense. I'm going to dig into a few of these, and I want to start with the competing priorities. So what usually happens is we have so much on our to-do list. We've got so many different things that we need to do. And then adding more things in there is a lot more things to do. I'm sorry, Donovan, I just saw your message about micromanaging management. I think people can relate to that. So here's the truth. When we have a long to-do list, what people usually do is add to it. We're like, you know what? Okay, yes, I have all these things to do, but you know what I actually really need to do is this. It is so common that when we want to make our lives a little bit easier, we're like, well, if I do this other thing first, then I'm going to be more productive. The truth of the matter is, it's actually more effective to make a stop doing list. And there's a lot of research around here about less is more. Our brains do really struggle to subtract, but that is the last thing that we need to do. We have to do the really difficult, hard work to subtract. And that is exactly where AI can come in. So using Copilot to prioritize by date, by content, you have to do that. And I also realized too, this is a little bit counterintuitive, that to be more productive, you need to actually do less. But it's been found that you're actually 85% more productive if you do less, because you are less distracted by all the different things and trying to think about how do I need to shuffle, and you can commit more to doing less and doing it well. Okay, so I want you to think about this for a moment for yourself. And you can add this right now to the chat if you like, about one thing that you can stop doing, to really look at your list and think like, okay, of all this, what can I do less of? What can I do less of? And I will also say too, if there's anyone on here who happens to be a perfectionist or a high achiever, I also say that there are moments when you can look at the work that you're doing and there is an absolute excellent supreme level of the work you're doing, and then there's like a really good level of the work that you can be doing. And let me tell you, usually that really good level, it's enough. And it's not like you're doing any poorer work. It's not like you're doing any worse for you or the company. You're actually doing a lot of good. So I love this. Stop reading email in real time, clearing your inbox every day. Yeah, relaxing your schedule can definitely make you more productive. If you need help in deciding how to do this, I love the Eisenhower matrix. Maybe some of you have seen this before. And it just helps you categorize what is on your list to how urgent it is, how important it is, and then it helps you decide what needs to be delegated, deleted, scheduled, or done. I love a good grid. It's the second one I've shown you in this session, so I clearly love a good grid, but I just love tools that help make decision making easier, and this is a really useful one if you don't already use it. Okay, the second thing to do to reclaim productivity, learn communication preferences. You've probably heard of the golden rule where, we treat others the way we want to be treated. We tend to do that with communication as well, where we communicate with others the way we want to be communicated with. Here's the issue. That actually makes communication harder because other people are not us. So we need to be using that platinum rule communication and communicating with them the way they want to be communicated with. It makes communication go faster and easier. That is easier said than done. So what can you do? First, recognize where communication is perhaps falling apart. Right now, it's been found that 46% of people rarely or never know what they're supposed to do after a meeting. So if we take the time to ask more in communication, it can make lives easier. All right. So this is a communication matrix. This was written for my business with my business partner, who is Lisa. And this just gives you an idea. I know, matrix alert. It's the third one. Man, I am just showing you all of like my colors right now, you guys. I love these kinds of systems. They're so simple and easy. But with this, it's like, okay, do we want more information or less? Here's when to reach me, what to do for urgent requests. And at the end, like for Lisa, she's like, never leave me a voicemail. I don't listen to those. I will have a full inbox. And for me, my special request is, if you are sending me a request, you have an ask, you need to put a deadline. If you don't put a deadline, this is going to be moved down my list because I'm going to prioritize it lower because I think I can have more time to get it to you. So yes, clear is kind, and this helps establish that clarity. This is really great for smaller teams. It's great for one-on-one. If you're going more macro, like if you're a leader of, tens or hundreds of people, this is going to be too difficult to manage, but it can be really great with teams and really great with onboarding. Next exercise. Okay, so the chat might get flooded a little bit here, but that's okay because I want to do this exercise. I want you to choose of the two words on the slide, which one describes the way you are and who you are, okay? I love this. Yeah, see, keep using Copilot, you guys. All right, so are you an introvert or an extrovert? Thinking of this session, okay? Just like who's here? Yes, maybe you're an ambivert. Okay, so introvert, extrovert. Looks like we've got a lot of introverts on here. Makes sense. I'm an introvert too, kind of more in that ambivert. Yeah, a bit of both, bit of both. Okay. Now, next one, and I'm going to ask you to choose one or the other. Are you a farmer or firefighter? Not an actual farmer or firefighter. Farmers like to take their time. They like to, follow the path, do it really well, and then they keep following all of the steps correctly. And they look back and they're like, look what I've done. A firefighter thinks that's the most boring thing in the entire world. They're like, if I have to follow a process and make sure it's good along the way and then not do anything else, I'm going to be bored, 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 bored. So are you a farmer or a firefighter? And yeah, it can be exhausting if you're a farmer who's trying to work as a firefighter. I will say this is one of the most difficult differences between workers. So it's important to kind of know where you stand. Do you like clear plans or winging it? So clear plans is like before Stone Ridge Connect, you probably were looking at all the sessions that you were going to go to. You were so excited. You couldn't wait. Winging it is like you logged on and you're like, I'll figure it out throughout the day. I can't wait, but I'm not going to take time to look ahead of time. So are you a clear plans or winging it person? Okay, looks like we have more planning people. And finally, at work, if you are getting a quick message, do you prefer a Teams message? Do you prefer a text? Do you prefer an email? Or do you prefer a phone call? Okay, so I'm seeing some texts, mostly texts. And I will say too, this can be so frustrating for the texters. If you text a caller and then the caller calls you and you're like, just because I sent a message did not mean that I was available for a phone call. And then the phone call person is thinking, well, it would just be so much faster if we just got this over with in 30 seconds versus a quick text. Okay. So, yeah, it depends on the situation for sure. And we all have our defaults. So what I would say is bring this to your own team. Bring this to the people you talk to all the time. Just have the conversation around it because when you know where you stand, you can be more productive. It can be so much easier. So it's just a tool, again, for you to use to hopefully get you to a more productive place. And then the final piece I'll say in this one quickly is that oftentimes we think productivity needs to happen on our own. We actually can be way more productive and find our flow with other people. The day started, Eric was talking about Artemis, and like that was done because of a group of people who got together to find flow together. So just keep thinking of how you can gather with people. And one tool I love is body doubling. And this is really great for neurodivergent folks too. But with body doubling, it's making sure that someone else is there with you. Like I think about study groups in school, right? When you're like, oh, hey, let's meet at the library and work together. And sometimes that meant you were goofing off, but other times it meant you got a ton of work done. That same concept applies to working. So when people are together working, whether it's they're working on a project together with clear goals, clear roles, clear time, or they're just like, I need to get stuff done and I get more done when you are next to me. So there's different tools that you can use to find a body double if you don't have anyone there. But it's just something that can make you so much more productive. And if you are one of those people, think about how you can infuse more body doubling throughout your day. Okay. And then, of course, you've already come up with different ideas with using Copilot, using Cowork. But, AI can help streamline your to-do list. It can help use these communication preferences to make a working with me cheat sheet. And it can also be your collaborator. If you need a body double sometimes, it can be that person who holds you accountable in its own way. All right. Finally, in our last bit of time, I want to talk about how important it is to remember our human side and how that helps us find our flow. With all the different technological tools, sometimes I think we can forget it a little bit. And I know we can all be tired. And I asked ahead of time, there was a small little quiz or survey, and I asked how depleted you are. And people said that they're about 6.1. That was the average answer. It's so common right now at work that we have to feel like these paddling ducks where we're totally great. We're unruffled on the surface, but we are paddling so hard underneath the surface. And The reality is that we're humans. We are not robots. The robots are AI and they're so useful and helpful. Like technology can help us, but at the core, we're human. We have limits. And what I find is that oftentimes we feel this pressure to wear these badges of honor, these busy badges of honor. So it could be that you're an instant responder, like you get back to people right away. It could be that you never use your PTO. You could be the kind of person where it's like any time of day, you can reach me. Don't worry about it. Or you could be the chief vacationer. So you go on vacation, but you're not actually on vacation because you're working the entire time. So I'm curious, we're going to launch our final poll, just our third one. And I would love to know of these badges, which one do you wear most often? Oh, cool. I earned all the badges. Yeah. We probably all wear these badges all the time. And as these results are coming in, I will just say we all have to wear them at different times for different reasons, and that's fine. Where we start to get worried is if you feel like you have to wear these badges constantly, or you're not doing a good job, or your job is at risk, or people start doing the same thing around you. And if you're a leader and you're wearing them, then other people that you're leading are wearing them too. So I would just say that if you are wearing this, just have some awareness about which one you're wearing, when might you be able to take it off. And also, if you're wearing these badges, what can happen is that you work nonstop and then you don't feel good. And then you're like, I need to take a break. Oh no, but I can't take a break, when actually you need to take a break. Take a break. Okay. If you want to reclaim calm, if you want to reclaim your human side, take a break. This was a research that was done about your brain and when there were breaks between meetings. And if you look, the red and yellow is more stress and the blue and green is less stress. The top row was no breaks. So you can see when there's no breaks, your brain gets more stressed. So like you just need to have more breaks during the day. And that can mean that you change locations. They could be big breaks or small ones. It could be, trying to find some joy throughout the day, or it could be that dog that's pesky during the day and is distracting you. You go give that dog a little hug or take them for a walk. We need the breaks to be more productive, to help find our flow, because we're humans. Again, we will break if we don't take breaks. And of course, AI can remind you to take breaks. And when it speaks to the human side, it can make your life a little bit easier and maybe even a little bit more joyful. And I want to end with my last tip. And this is not so much related to technology. This is just related to being human. And that is finding the glimmers. A glimmer is a tiny, seemingly insignificant moment when you feel a sense of joy, pleasure, peace, and gratitude. This can be the feeling of breeze on your face when you walk outside in the beginning of the day or at the end of the day. I have a 3.5-month-old daughter, and for me, it's just seeing her smile when I am done working. Like it's all of these small little moments, these tiny little glimmers that can remind us of like, oh, the really delicious, beautiful, wonderful things about being human. And when we have more of that kind of energy, and we can energize and fuel ourselves with these glimmers, we can be even, we can bring that different side of ourselves to work to ultimately find our flow. So this is just as important as everything else. So if you have glimmers, I would love to know what they are. I think it's so cool to see what are the small pieces that light people up. So I see gratitude. That's awesome. Keep writing in your glimmers. I would love to keep hearing what they are. And as you keep thinking about these, yeah, your dog sniff on walks, time with family, talking with your daughters. Oh, a spring breeze. Yes, 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 yes. Um, okay, we talked about so much stuff. And I love, we're talking about more. All these pieces keep coming in. They make me so happy. Hope they make you happy too. There's a lot that can detract us from finding our flow. And when we're thinking about how we can reclaim work, reclaim our focus, reclaim productivity, reclaim our human side, here's what I will tell you. It can feel like there's so much to do. And remember that if you do one small thing, better is a direction. So even the tiniest pieces make a huge difference. And with that, I will also say thank you. Thank you so much for having me here at Stone Ridge Connect. I will be tuning off with my video, but if there are questions that have come in, I would love to answer them. So please feel free to ask and I will be here. So thank you again very, very much for everyone's time. I hope you all have a wonderful end of your day. Thank you.